roll cards are us. I don't know if you guys have talked about this yet, but what's your guys' opinion on this authentic fake? This is probably gonna come up. 96 FLEER basketball today, Open International. I think you're talking about the 86 with the gum, right? That's what I'm
Yeah.
thinking. And then also there was some talk about vintage sports cards with the break and some a pack not kind of being removed from what was being opened.
Oh yeah. Just saw that today.
Oh, the first thing went through Baseball Card Exchange. My thoughts on that. I think in our ecosystem of sports cards, I think I've talked on this before. We have to have some way to authenticate unopened boxes.
Hmm.
I had Nerdy Girl Comics on yesterday. We were talking about they're grading video games and other things on if they're open or not, or what's the quality of the manual in there, if things are authentic. I think sports cards there has to be a way, and if there needs to be, as we have different graders in the marketplace, there needs to be different unopened box authenticators in the marketplace. Maybe more technology is used. Someone in another live brought up, I think it was here with you, X-ray in the boxes. I think Ham brought that up. What about you?
Yeah.
X-ray, yeah, X-ray the boxes and say there has to be some technology that is. I think this is important. Um,
Very
if
important.
if a couple of boxes come up as not being real, I don't know what that does to every other box that's out there that Baseball Card Exchange has authenticated. We've seen this happen in the past, and the hobby kind of kept rolling. But there has to be a way. I mean, it's just interesting that you get to the national on a big stage and you open a box and there's questions.
Yeah, and I don't know if you knew this, but I guess the baseball card exchange, that's who PSA uses to authenticate their grades when they send them in. I mean, when I heard that today, I immediately said, I'm like, I can't send a card in, a high end card into PSA. I don't trust the authentication process. I mean, there was reports out today. Even Ken Golden came out and he said, "You guys are trimming cards, and you don't even know what the card is and how much alteration there was, and you're grading it like it's authentic." I don't know if you saw that story.
Hmm.
And Golden, Golden obviously was bought out by PSA and all that stuff too, and they're like partners now. And like you even have Ken Golden who is saying that about his partner, company, parent company that's helping them and growing together. If that doesn't say something to you, I don't know what does, but I will be grading with SGC, like I said, for a little bit. I'll buy the car PSA grade already if I want
It's interesting. It is
one.
interesting some of the stuff that goes on. It's almost to the point in my mind when there's a big show, I'm like, man, something's coming.
I
You're
know.
going to hear something.
Oh, yeah, I know.
We haven't
And
had one yet. We haven't had a big show yet that I can remember. I mean, like at Delmar, we had the $16,000 Star Wars card that was sold, purchased from Dan, the great creator, to DAPS Sports, and people jumped all over that. Like, is that embellished? Is that real? Is that the real? I can't think of a big show. I hope we get through Burbank. Nothing's going on.
I mean, I hope not. I really hope not. I know a lot of big people are going to be there. And I don't know. There's probably a lot of stuff we don't know about either. I know you obviously talk to more of these bigger guys than me because you're obviously in Cali, you're in the space, you're with these guys. I'm obviously down here in North Carolina, but there is a lot of stuff that I'm sure behind the scenes that we do not know about. That's not obviously, it doesn't have integrity behind it. Like it's bad for the hobby. People are probably placing fakes just to cause, controversy and spark news to keep the hobby relevant, which is not the
Could
right
be.
way.
Could be.
I mean, there's a ton of conspiracy theories that I'm reading. I'm trying not to get caught up in things because I'm actually here for the right reasons and a diehard collector and fan of obviously collecting cards in the hobby and stuff. But there is so much stuff that I'm sure we don't know about that's going on that people are plotting at these shows, and that's why you hear a string of breaking news stories. And and stuff like that. So
Well, we talked about before controversy. People run to controversy. So this is interesting. I mean, some stuff that I don't even think about that. Dr. Applesauce did a video on how to scope out tampered Pokemon slabs and EVTs. Brendan says, you are not alone. Unreal, the inconsistency in PSA's grading.
yeah.
Fake sakes, check out tag grading. Yeah, tag is going to be at the Burbank. Check out tag grading on the weekend. Let us know what you think. I definitely will. I think they may be the real deal. Definitely will. I've already heard good things from some people that I know, but we'll be there and from A to Z, we'll ask questions and lay this thing out. The technology looks supreme. Love what you collect. What's up? Will you grade all your cars to SGC moving forward?
Yeah. I mean, I've said this on a bunch of obviously shows now. I think this was our third one FD. But every show, I mean, it seems like to come up, and I think people need to understand. I mean, I don't know if you were here earlier on in the show, Love What You Collect, but I mentioned how you have cards that are just, we're talking serial number cards, rare cards from Prism, Select, Obsidian, like all these kind of ultra modernish sets that are half the price and look better in the case with SGC. And the credibility, the customer service is A1. I mean, I can't even think about sending my cards into PSA knowing what I know now after this year has gone on. I mean, they opened up their regular service and I was so excited. I was like, man, finally I'm going to send a huge submission in. I got 50 cards I could send in, over the next month when I gather them together, 20, $30 a card. Awesome. Right. Send it in. I get online, I'm talking to a few people, and I'm like, I didn't see the turnaround time. I was like, what's the turnaround time, guys? They were like, a year. I was like, did PSA not learn their freaking lesson from before? If you cannot meet the demand, you're going to lose thousands of customers. And the only reason why you're still relevant with all the scams, all the popularity, all the stuff behind your name, it's literally just because you have celebrities and big time people throwing money in your face to promote PSA. And all of us are sitting here believing in it. And now there's people like me, I know a bunch of other people that are finally seeing the light that another company has the potential to compete with PSA at a very, very, very high level. I mean, this Prism right here, Curry, like we talked about FD, 2016, right? It's worth about the same price in a PSA 10. I mean, that should show you everything you need to know. It's slowly balancing out. I mean, SGC passed BGS for a reason. They're slowly creeping up on PSA just for the customer service alone, and their grades are very authentic and actual real grades. They've improved so much. I can go on and on. So if that answers your question, I will be moving on with them to grades. Now, if I want to buy a card that's higher end, I'll just buy a PSA as is.